Republican Congressman Jim Renacci joins me now. You're an Ohio Republican, and welcome. You're from my home territory, so an extra big welcome to you. Thank you so much for being here. The plan. This poll shows most Americans don't think it's going to be a middle-class miracle. What would you say to them?
Well, first off, I would say we don't have the final pieces put together. So as I travel even the state of Ohio, I tell everyone there are a lot of pieces that still haven't been finalized. I know that all the meetings I've had, whether it's been with the president, whether it's been as a tax committee, whether it's been with Democrats and Republicans with the president, the goal is to make sure that this is a middle tax cut for the middle tax or middle class. And I think that's the most important thing. But we have to wait for the Senate to pass their budget before we can finalize it. So people aren't talking about the child tax credit that might be increased. People aren't talking about the doubling of the itemized deductions. People aren't talking about a lot of those issues, which some are pretty much in the framework, but others aren't final yet. People aren't talking about the potential that we keep, and I'm not guaranteeing this, but we keep the high rate. It's interesting when people say it's not a middle-class tax cut, when even I, who sit on the committee, we don't have all the final pieces yet, because we need to finalize the budgets, and when the Senate passes its budget, we'll be able to move forward.
Let's talk about the budget, because Senator Rand Paul has kind of thrown a wrench into things, right? He doesn't want to grow the deficit. He says we're spending too much on the military, and we should cut back on the proposed money for that. Do you agree?
Well, too many politicians make too many political statements, which is one of the biggest frustrations for me in Washington. Here's the problem. If we don't cut tax rates for corporations, they're going to continue to leave. If they continue to leave the United States and go elsewhere, we lose revenue and the deficit grows. That's a big problem. The other issue is if we don't allow middle-class Americans to have more money to grow the economy, it doesn't grow either, and we lose less money in the Treasury. So when politicians get up and talk, and I know people talk as, oh, I'm a politician. I'm a business guy, and I was in business for 28 years. You have to make decisions to move forward. Nothing is cut in stone. No matter what we do, look, Congress is Congress. They can change it if there's problems, but we can't just sit still. Sitting still is what we've done since 1986 on the tax code. We have to simplify it, make it better.
I have to ask you about President Trump and Congresswoman Wilson's bitter spat over what President Trump allegedly said to this grieving widow of a slain soldier in Niger. What do you make of that?
Well, again, it's politics as usual. The frustration that American people, Carol, as I travel this state, you're from Ohio, I'm from here in Ohio, people are so frustrated at these political statements. Nobody knows what the call was about. Nobody knows what the conversation was about. We do know that we have a politician who doesn't like President Trump, who's making that statement.
Well, wait a minute. Sergeant Johnson's mother heard the conversation, and she said Congresswoman Wilson's story was accurate. Well,
again, I think the American people, if we're going to start pointing fingers and throwing stones, I can't imagine the president. I know the president well. He is sincere when he talks, and I believe in him that he may be misconstrued as saying something, but the truth of it is in his heart. I know he was concerned. That's why he made the call. And I think in the end, this is politics as usual.
And I wish it weren't so, but you're right about that. It's all politics. It's a sad thing. Congressman Jim Renacci, thank you for being with me.
Thank you.